Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This video is going to be all about the upcoming render distance changes in patch 10. I'm going to discuss what the current system is, what is going to be happening in patch 10, and also show you some gameplay examples of where it would have mattered. So firstly, let's quickly run down the current viewing, spotting, and render system so the rest of this video is going to make sense. So in World of Tanks, the maximum distance that you can spot an enemy vehicle is 445 meters, irrelevant of how high your view range is. That is a physical cap. If your view range was 1,000 meters, you could still only see vehicles up to 445 meters. But before you draw conclusions, that doesn't mean that having view range beyond 445 meters isn't useful, because a view range counteracts camo rating. And to give you a very brief example, a tank with 372 meters view range is only going to be able to see a WZ-132 at 226 meters if it has fantastic camouflage skills. So realistically, getting your view range up to at least maybe 475 or 500 still has a significant benefit, at least for spotting camouflage tanks. Next, there is also a physical render distance in World of Tanks of 500 meters. Or you can think of it as a square with a length of 1,000 meters, where your tank is in the middle. If an enemy tank is spotted beyond this 500 meters, they won't render on your screen, but that doesn't mean that you can't shoot them. So if somebody has gotten away from your 500 meters render distance, in a predictable fashion, have a chance anyway. But be careful, because it's not only your enemies you can hit outside of this 500 meters. As we can see, I'm trying to interrupt the cap circle. 3 seconds left. Am I going to get in another blind shot? Oh dear. I just TK'd an ally who was inside the cap circle, and I went blue myself. So by using a little bit of trigonometry, you can work out that the actual maximum distance that you could possibly see a vehicle in World of Tanks is 707 meters, if they're right in the corner of this 1 kilometer render distance square. However, in patch 10, this is all about to change. The 1 kilometer square is going to be replaced by a circle with a 564 meter radius. So what that means in theory is that you're going to be able to render tanks that you previously couldn't. But it also means that there's going to be an area that you won't be able to render anymore. Now, before you start to worry that you're going to be rendering a larger area which could impact on the performance of your computer, that's not the case. In 9.10, the square render shape had a length of 1,000 meters, and so therefore, using the area formula, it is 1 million meters squared, or 1 kilometer squared. In patch 10, the circle render system will have a radius of 564 meters, which is pi r squared, giving this an area of 999,328.0567 meters, which is very, very close to 1 kilometer as it was previously. And so therefore, the area that you're going to be rendering is practically the same. But just because the area is the same doesn't mean that it's not going to have large implications on the gameplay. Let's take a quick look at some examples. So here we go, we're playing on Prokhorovka, one of the maps, one of the largest and most open maps that is going to have big impact for the changes. So, if you're wondering why this doesn't look like my mod pack, because this is something I've thrown together specifically for this video, because it has the old render system and also the new render system on it. So if we look at the map, I will explain what I'm talking about. So this blue circle is the 445 meters spotting distance, which will be the same in patch 9.10 and 10.0. However, it's this yellow circle that you can see here that is the new render system coming in patch 10. It's 564 meters. But I've also included the old render system, this white square, this 1 kilometer square, that is not long left for this game. So as an example, when people use this position on the ridgeline, you are no longer going to be able to shoot any tank destroyers that are in this location. However, coming up really is the key change for this map. How many times have you found yourself in this position, reversing to be able to render the tanks that are on that position, and by the time you get there, they're no longer rendered for you? In the next patch, this is no longer going to be a problem. Currently, the max render distance is here. In the next patch, you're going to be able to see these tanks from all the way back here. You could probably even come a little bit further over and be past the midpoint of the map and still be able to shoot people that are fighting it out on the hill. But remember, that does come at the cost of not being able to get those long distance shots at the tank destroyers that are camping towards the north southwest. So we're certainly going to see a lot less medium tanks in this position, and probably a lot more medium tanks spread out all the way along here on Prokhorovka in patch 10. Arctic region is also a very good example of where these render system changes will have a large impact. One of my favorite positions is this bush here. I love it with my medium tanks and also my light tanks. Now, why is that? Well, from here you can make use of being able to get shots into this location down here. In patch 9.10, it's very easy to shoot tanks as they make their way up this position, and also to get easy shots at players that like to hug this ridgeline that comes out. As we can see next patch, this is clearly not going to be possible, with both of these areas no longer showing up on the render system. But alternatively, you are going to have the opportunity to shoot further along here and stop enemies that like to use this position to counter the one that I'm in currently. So as we can clearly see, this render system is always going to be a double-edged sword, with some positions now more powerful and others less powerful. If you want to do this yourself, you can easily make a diagram which you can then use to move over the maps and see what new positions there are going to be and what positions you are no longer going to be able to use effectively. Just to illustrate my point again, currently we could shoot in the yellow areas, and so that means that we're no longer going to be able to hit the far southeast part of this map as the enemies push their way up. But now we're going to have the opportunity to shoot at players that like to use this green area that counter this location. So finally, let's take a quick look at Malinovka. One of my favorite positions is this here at D5/6. This bush is just super powerful because currently you can get shots all the way down past the woods. However, next patch you won't be able to get shots much past the crossroads. But on the other hand, this position will be buffed because you are now going to be able to shoot at people that go down here. Even from positions further away than this, probably all the way up onto this hill here, you're going to still be able to get shots down on any enemies that try to push this location. And so that about covers all of the render system changes that are coming up in patch 10. Some positions are going to be stronger, some positions are going to be worse, and the only way that you guys can really predict that is to either create a diagram and then drag it around on all of the maps, or just wait until patch 10 is released and then slowly pick it up as you go along. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. Maybe it was just useful to you. It really helps the channel out. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about these render changes. Do they make sense? Or do you just think that it's completely pointless and you don't really want the change and now you're going to have to relearn all of the maps? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.